Hey guys, what's up? It's 8-Bit Eric. Nintendo Switch is killing it. 2018 looks like it's going to be a big and bright year. Tons of games available for the Nintendo Switch, both physically and eShop. And some of you might be wondering, geez, I wish I knew exactly which games to stay away from. Well, that's what today's video is about. Today I'm going to share with you the 10 worst Nintendo Switch games of 2017. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and begin today's video. Now right off the bat, this one is a game that disappointed me quite a bit. I was looking forward to it. It's NBA Playgrounds. When it was released, it was such a bad port. The other platforms got such better ports of it. They even had online play. The graphics were much better, but for whatever reason, the Nintendo Switch version was just bad. It was like incomplete, barely playable, very blurry to look at, no online play. It was pathetic. I was so let down, especially since this is a callback to games like NBA Jam, where I used to play back in the day, and I was excited. I was like, man, NBA Playgrounds is going to be the perfect multiplayer sports game that I had been looking for on the Nintendo Switch. It came, and it fell completely flat. So flat that the developers actually promised that they would give away free copies of Shaq Fu 2 to everybody who bought it when it initially launched. That's how bad it is. They're offered a free Shaq Fu game for those that were disappointed with NBA Playgrounds. Now, I believe there has been a couple of patches since then, but to be quite honest, this game just left a bad taste in my mouth. It was a missed opportunity and one of the earliest examples of a Nintendo Switch game being rushed out too early, which there's a couple others on today's list that I'm about to get into. The next one is Dark Witch Music Rudimakel. Such a weird name, such a weird title. This is a mobile port. There's been a lot of mobile ports in the Nintendo eShop. This one's a rhythm-based game where based on what color of balls are being thrown at you is what button you push. That's it. You just sit there and you push 3 different buttons and try to pace yourself to the rhythm of music. I know there's a market out there for people that like, you know, these kind of mobile games that have cute little anime looking characters. I could see the appeal. When I reviewed it, I didn't go too hard on the game. But based on the grander scheme of things, now that the Nintendo Switch library is completely full, mobile games like this that are bare minimum a basic game kind of fall flat. I mean, we got great games coming out. We got huge indie platforming games, adventure games, RPGs coming out now. Some high quality titles are coming out. I think the time for basic mobile ports on the Switch is over with. People want some good high quality content games made, and even though, I mean, overall it's not a bad game, it's just not strong enough of a game to even be a recommendation at this point. Maybe back when I first reviewed it, I might have had a different take on it, but now, I mean, don't even waste your money. Has Been Heroes is a GameStop Switch exclusive for the physical disc. I got it. It was a launch date title. I was excited. I just wanted some games. I thought it looked pretty neat. I thought the concept was cool, using different lanes to switch your heroes between and time their attacks and stuff. But there was just something with this game that I could not get behind it. I really, really wanted to give the game a chance, and I gave it a good solid try for about a month, and then after that, I seriously have not picked it up. Seriously, I played it for about a month, haven't played it ever again. You could get an assortment of different heroes that have to complete a quest. It plays like a roguelike, so as soon as you die, you have to start over from square one. You get different power-ups, stuff like that, but there was no lasting appeal for this game, in my opinion. And I played it back at PAX South last year when it was still not even an official game yet, when the Switch wasn't even launched. And then I got it launch day, I played through it, and I was like, man, you know, there was just something about this game that was just completely missing the mark. Other than that, it looked like it had potential, and just like NBA Playgrounds, it let me down. It doesn't play bad, it doesn't look bad, it runs great. It's just, I can't get into it. Now, when you think of Nintendo Switch and video games in general, board games seem kind of pointless, especially one that is like Othello that's been around for years, that I could literally go to the dollar store probably and buy a Othello dollar game. It's also known as Reversi, I believe. I tried it out for the Nintendo Switch, played it for you guys. It basically looks like a mobile game. Really basic graphics, really basic gameplay. There's not enough content there. You can play with yourself, or you can play with a friend. It's Othello. There's no different types of gameplay options, no different modes, no online play. It's a bare bones minimum Othello game that you could actually probably go out and get the actual board game of Othello itself and play it for cheaper. I guess the benefit of having it on the Nintendo Switch is that you can take it anywhere, but you can also take a board game anywhere within theory. You can play with your friend. I don't know. It was just another launch title that came out, and I feel that they took advantage of a lack of games coming out at the initial launch dates, the first couple of weeks or so. So I'm sure it sold well just because of that reason, but I'm also sure a lot of people just like myself were a little disappointed in the lackluster presentation and lack of content that Othello brought. So that's why it's on the list. Chris Jericho style. Now, growing up with the NES, RBI Baseball was a classic game, in my opinion. I enjoyed it. I even had the Game Boy version of it. And when I found out RBI Baseball was coming back and it was going to be on the Nintendo Switch, I was excited. Another sports game. After the letdown of NBA Playgrounds, I was like, they can't fail me now. Well, guess what? They did. RBI Baseball 17 on the Switch is a piss poor port, missing a lot of features that the other platforms got. Online play is missing, and bare minimum, it's a baseball game. It does what it does. It controls okay. It plays alright, but bare bones minimum. There's lack of detail on the players. There's barely any detail on the stadiums, and it feels like a mobile game. That's a common recurring theme in here, but it's not. This was a developed game licensed by Baseball, and you know, usually nowadays everybody talks about, you know, The Show as the great baseball game. We didn't get that on the Switch. That's PS4. So not having a game that's comparable baseball-wise actually hurts the system, in my opinion. I know a lot of people don't like sports games. I at least like some of them, and you know, a good solid baseball title on the Nintendo Switch, I feel, would have been crucial to the first year for it. Unfortunately, we got RBI Baseball 17, and it feels quite underdeveloped, and the fact that it was ported over missing features is not good in my opinion. Now, when you think of console gaming, you really don't think of games like Farmville, where you take charge of a farm and you develop stuff and things like that. That's really microtransaction-y mobile gaming. And New Frontierlands came out on the Nintendo Switch. It was a launch title again, and I gotta admit, I reviewed it and I admitted that I spent quite a bit of time playing it because these are time sinkers. At the time, there was no other game similar to it. We didn't have Stardew Valley and other games like that, so playing a game like New Frontier killed some time, and it was quite addictive a little bit, but when you really honestly look at it, it feels like a mobile game. The graphics are poor, the gameplay is repetitive, and there's not much you can do. Yeah, sure, it's a perfect handheld game, but when you compare it to a game like Stardew Valley that's kicking ass and basically does that farm building concept plus more, it's going to suffer. And I honestly feel that games like this have no place on the Nintendo Switch anymore. You got to build the bar high. Was the bar low when the Switch first came out? Possibly because people didn't know that the console was going to do well at all. Now that it's on trajectory to be the fastest selling console of all time, unfortunately, New Frontier gets pitched into the top 10 worst games of 2017 for the Nintendo Switch. Skyride is another example of a game that has a major lack of content to be on a console. Now, sure, the Nintendo Switch is a hybrid console. You got portable and you got at-home console gaming. However, Skyride is a game where you control a person on a jet bike that flies around a level 360 degrees. You're shooting and attacking a variety of different robots. Actually, I wouldn't even say variety. All of the enemies look the same except the bosses. It's basically a score run game. You try to get the best score as much as possible. You could set your weapons to certain buttons. You could even, it's so shoddy made that it doesn't even control right. You could basically have all of your weapons fire at the same exact time. But it's just repetitive gameplay. You beat the boss, you start a different level, you try to just rack up a score. There's no variety of levels, no variety of stages. The game doesn't even have a title screen. You literally just pick up and play. And this feels like not even a console game, not even a mobile game. I would say this is like a cheap online game that you can play somewhere, and it's just a shoddy game to be put on the Switch. This Skyride, don't even bother. Like, this is bottom of the barrel Nintendo Switch eShop content, and it is overpriced as well. I did a review of it, and I feel that I went not even hard enough on it. I should have been harder on Skyride because this game is pathetic. Now, at the time, Broom in the Night Sky was possibly the worst Nintendo Switch game. You play as a witch riding a motorcycle bike and you collect stars. It's almost like Superman 64. This graphics look like Nintendo 64 graphics. This actually looks like a development project that a college team might have been working on, trying to get their development certification and stuff like that. And the game is so hilariously bad. The text boxes, bad broken English. The graphics horrible, the gameplay bad. There's enemies that pop up that really don't attack you. It's like another rival witch, and you just collect stars and get upgrades for your motorcycle or get different models of motorcycles. You explore a variety of maps that just feel so empty and barren, and I don't know who this markets to, because if I was a kid and I played this game, I would break my Nintendo Switch. It's that bad. I just can't. I cannot get behind it. I just... how this got by Nintendo standards and practices befuddles me. As long as it took games like Axiom and Verge to get approved in the eShop, but Broom in the Night Sky was immediately like put on the eShop, that puzzles me. Now the next one is Troll and I. This was a game that I was definitely looking forward to because it looked like it had that nice solo player campaign as well as some couch co-op. You play as a character that has a troll as a companion, and it's almost like a Legend of Zelda-esque slash Uncharted slash Tomb Raider slash, I don't know, that 3D action platforming element where there's a little bit of exploration and stuff. I was looking forward to it, and then I was completely let down. I should have felt the warnings when I saw the reviews for the PS4 version and stuff. The Troll and I on the Nintendo Switch is probably the worst iteration of Troll and I. If you're going to play this at all, get it elsewhere because Switch version suffers from a lot of frame rate issues. It also has a couple of glitches where it causes the game to crash. And overall, it just feels like a GameCube game, in my opinion. The cutscenes are bad. The voice acting isn't too great. The map layout and the user interface is very tough to use. I could not believe how bad of a game this was. And this was another example of a third-party developer possibly rushing a game to get put on the Switch to cash in on money. And I hopefully believe that this stuff isn't going to happen anymore. Knock on wood. But Troll and I was an example of a game that completely let me down. And I'm never going to forgive it. I literally reviewed it and never put it back up in my Switch. That thing is not touching it. It's on the shelf, probably rotting away, but if there was a game that I could say don't even bother with across all three consoles, it's Troll and I. Don't even bother. Now last but not least, I recently reviewed this game, highly anticipated WWE 2K18. This was probably the worst third-party port on the Nintendo Switch because it was barely playable. Single matches, it struggled. If you get multiple man matches, the frame rate just goes kaput. And not to mention the entrances. I did a review of this and I went off. This game was bad. And I heard a rumor that WWE rushed the game out. They made 2K rush it out to be out for Black Friday. And if that's true, that's pretty sad. This game is barely playable. I know a lot of people say that about games. This one is for a fact barely playable. Try doing a multiple 6-man match. And let's see how slow this is. This is like you're playing a lagged online game. The graphics not so great either. It seems like a lot of these third-party games that came out on the Switch in 2017 were bad ports. Now, we still got a couple of good ones, but WB 2K18 is one that should have been good because I believe it could have sold some copies. 2018 is now upon us, so I guess in a year from now, I'm going to share with you guys my worst games of 2018. Hopefully there's not too many because the Switch is doing great. I really enjoyed experiencing the Switch. The launch year was a success. Let's move forward and just enjoy gaming. You know, while there is 10 that I listed here, I'm sure there's a few more that I might have missed through the cracks. If I missed one, comment below. Let me know what you think. Don't be a prick. I always hate when people are like, oh, no this, none of this. Just fucking be cool, comment, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe, comment, like. I'll see you guys soon. Thanks a lot for watching. Peace out. Hey guys, what's up? It's 8-Bit Eric. This is a convention announcement. I am going to be at the SoCal Retro Gaming Expo January 20th and 21st, 2018 in lovely Southern California at the Frank & Son Collectibles Show. It's my first time in SoCal. I'm looking forward to it. People are always asking when am I coming. Well, the time is here. Now, you can order your tickets already. I have a link in the description below. If you use promo code 8BIT, you'll get 15% off your tickets. Yes, I'm hooking you up with a discount. Use the code below, 8BIT, and you're good to go. Do not wait until the day of the show because you won't get this sweet ass discount.